This 2006 Ford Explorer, got the 4.6 liter V8, got the code P2005, P2004 intake manifold runner, control actuator stuck open, or whatever it is, something like that. It's I think its runner is stuck open. If you're wondering what the runners are, these are the runners inside the intake manifold. There you go. And these are the control arms that go on to the actuator assembly. This is a brand new one. I couldn't figure out a way to test it, even though this is kind of the line of work that I'm in. I could have figured it out. There's 3 connectors. Looks like there's going to be one hot, one negative that comes from the PCM, and probably the other one is the feedback to the PCM to let it know its position. Anyway, I just read so much online that these things go bad, replace it. So that's what I did. And I went to Ford and got ripped off royally, $280. And here's what it is. So me and Bandit are gonna fix this thing up. What do you think, Bandit? Ooh, man, you get laser eyes. Cool. So I'm going to get this thing bolted on, and I'll take you through the process of putting the intake manifold back on, which will help you take the thing off. Kind of working backwards for you, but is what it is. Bear with me. So when I pull the runner actuator arms off, these little clips right here, it's kind of blurry. They are, you know, one-time deal on those. So I had to run to the auto parts store and grab 2 new ones. Just want to let you know that. All right. Take manifold out. I want to point out where the bolts are. So when you take it off, you got the one there, the one there, one there, the one in the back. And you also got one right here. See it right there? You got one on both sides. And it's right where the fuel line connects the 2 fuel rails right here. Alright, so I'm going to be about ready to put the intake manifold back on. I got new gaskets on here. I'm just going to go down here and get a rag and clean that up real nice before we made it onto the block. Point out, so right here on the intake manifold you have 2 of the vacuum lines, and then you have the electrical connector right there. So when you're going to take off the intake manifold, you'll feel it struggle a little bit towards the back, and that's because you got these dudes right here. And go easy, don't go too crazy when you're tugging on this thing, because you do got that electrical connector. All right. The intake area where the runners are all cleaned off, and we'll be ready to put her back on. Where the intake manifold goes back on, I'm sure a lot of you guys know this already. Here's the female for the connector that goes to the manifold or runner control module, and then you have the one vacuum hose here, and then I went ahead and put the other vacuum hose on over there. So I got the top end all cleaned off over here on the head, and heads I should say, and looks like we're free and clear. Get everything out the frickin' way, and we'll be ready to work that intake manifold back in. Probably to slide this fuel rail over a little bit. I'll work on that. All right, be right back. Manifold back up on the top end. So got the bolts in. Well, let me back up. So first of all, obviously you got to connect the vacuum hoses and the electrical connector in the back. Get that scored away, and then you're going to put your bolts back in. Get the 2 in the back in the corners. Get the bolts along the side. You got the bolts down inside there. Okay. Don't go nuts on tightening those. It's 14 foot-pounds. So, yeah, there you go. So I got to put the rest of this beast back together, and hopefully it works. I'm going to put the fuel rails back in. I did not disconnect the fuel service hose, the supply hose, but I'm going to inspect the O-rings, put a little Vaseline on them, make sure it's all good and clean before it goes down into where the injectors go. All right. Rail on the driver's side back on. There's the fasteners, like I told you earlier. That is a number 8 millimeter. Always a good idea to give this hose right here a really good inspection. Make sure there's no cracks. Make sure it's good pliable rubber. And you should be good to go. All right, I'll do the passenger side. Fuel rails back on. The hose, the crossover hose looks good. I'm going to go ahead and plug in all the injectors. All put back together. So far, no engine codes popped. That's a good sign. Running good. No unusual noises. Only abnormality was a connector right there. I think it's for the water temp. Had to repair it. So it's better than it was before. So we'll see, man. Woman, whoever. I'm gonna take it for a test drive and see how it goes. Are so good. Cruising. Can't go too fast out here. Cop's gonna get me. Live in the southeast part of Denver. Pretty hilly out here in a little town called Parker. So I got a good test. So far, no check engine lights. And I'll do one more video when I pull it back into the barn. Test drive, and still good. Still good. No check engine light. Performed really well. That's pretty much it. So, signing off from Colorado. Peace out, YouTube.